Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've seen the rollout of the America First energy policy, and I was thrilled initially to hear that Florida's offshore drilling plan was off the table, although I think I heard you say just now, Mr. Director Cruikshank, that it's still under consideration. So I have a few questions about how this decision initially went down, and also what does it mean? So first, what specifically is still under consideration as far as offshore drilling related to Florida?
We are following the process called for in the Outer Continental Shelf Lands Act, the statute that governs the development of the 5-year program. And under that statute, we are conducting the full analyses under Section 18 of that act and under the National Environmental Policy Act of all areas that were included in the draft proposed program.
So then is Secretary Zinke's tweet getting ahead of the game? Is that not an official decision? Is that just him saying it, but the process actually hasn't happened yet?
The Secretary's statement stands on its own. We are following the process, and the Secretary's decisions will be reflected in the proposed program decision.
By stand on its own, it just stands on its own, but it's not an official action. Is that what you mean?
It is not a formal action, no.
So there has been no formal action to remove Florida from the offshore drilling plan as of right now?
We will be including it in the analysis for the decisions that will come out later this year.
So that's a yes. Have we looked at whether the 125-mile buffer zone is going to be one of those areas that'll be respected?
That is one of the specific options that the Secretary asked us to analyze, so it will be included in that analysis.
And then is the Atlantic, is that where, are you all leaning towards taking the Atlantic part of Florida off the table too as far as offshore drilling?
It will also be subject to the same analyses.
And so the tweet isn't a test. As you know, with rules, there could be arbitrary and capricious decisions. So I believe the tweet was, Florida is unique. Our coasts are heavily reliant on tourism as an economic driver. I believe both those things are true. So we're not dealing with a two-part test of states being unique and having coasts as an economic driver. Is that the test, or is that not the test?
Those are factors that need to be considered. The OCS Lands Act lays out 8 categories of information that the Secretary needs to consider in his decision-making process, and that's what the analyses that we're undertaking now will look at. That includes the laws, goals, and policies of the affected states, and the OCS Lands Act does call out specific roles for the governors in providing information to the Secretary, and the Secretary will carefully consider all of that.
So just so we're clear, Mr. Director, you're going to apply those standards as required under the law, and this was more of an advanced tweet of an opinion and not an official act then?
We will do that complete analysis, and any decisions the Secretary makes will be reflected in the next proposal.
Has this ever happened before where we have a statement made by Secretary Zinke or anybody else under the umbrella of Department of Interior where they make a statement but they haven't undergone the analysis yet?
I can't speak to whether there have been comments from other secretaries over the history of the program since this process was established in the 70s. Certainly, with today's technology, any sorts of statements get sort of broader audience than they might have 30 or 40 years ago.
As you can appreciate, many Floridians now believe that we're off the table, that there's going to be no offshore drilling because of that statement, and that's not true. We still have to go through an analysis to determine whether that's going to happen or not. Can you give us any early indication how we're doing, whether under those factors we officially will be removed both under the 125 buffer zone and the Atlantic?
The analysis we provide is basically laying out the facts, and that includes an analysis of the comments that we are receiving now through this public comment period. And the Secretary will consider all of that in putting his decision together, so that there is, until such time as all of those analyses are complete and we have all of those comments to put in the record and consider, we will not have any indication of where the Secretary wants to go in this process.
So right now, Florida's shores are still in jeopardy if or until an official decision is made. Is that correct?
They are still part of the analysis until the Secretary gives us an official decision otherwise.
Thank you. I yield back.